mean, yeah, I have to, clear any of this kind of stuff past the.
Yeah, I'm not going down that road with you again. I'm just telling you my
Overlord.
opinions on what
I know, I gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on, I gotta close the door.
I know. Oh, okay, you're gone. So I won't talk now to you.
Did you see the topic that Rob put in there, Keith? Because it's one that requires prep.
I have done no prep.
Shocker!
I'm really good at all
Keith's
prep.
In Keith's defense, that topic was put in the document about 5 minutes ago.
As far as that document goes, it could have been 5 weeks ago. It wouldn't have mattered to him.
Yeah.
But 5 minutes ago, I was dealing with a 13-year-old. So
I've got 2. Count them, 2.
That's good
for the topic.
That's great.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
I've got at least 1.
Good.
I'm telling you, I'm really good at off the cuff. So if you want to go with what your prep one is, I'll figure it out.
This is probably something you've at least given a little thought to.
I'm sure it is. I really wish my freaking Apple touchpad would do what I want it to do. Copy. It doesn't do that. It does it? Come on. Bring up the links, but I can't copy them.
La 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 la.
You all keep free.
Did Keith just freeze on us?
So thirsty.
Keith just froze on me.
He froze a couple minutes ago,
he's
too.
Pretty frozen.
Froze. This beer ain't getting any colder.
No. But we're live.
Live!
Whoa. Hi. Live.
Hi, Alpha
On
Geek.
Alpha Geek. We're not there yet.
Not there yet.
Google Hangout says live.
There's no but.
Yeah, but Alpha Geek's not there yet because I'm still putting that stuff in.
Hey, Jeremy, remember these?
Hey, Google Plus.
I think I tried them.
Mine
They
says
were gross.
best. Mine
What do
says
you have?
best by March of this
Beer
year.
jelly beans? Oh.
I sent
Yeah,
everybody.
you should have got some too.
I should have?
Yeah, they were in the last beer package or the one before.
No.
Yep.
Nope.
The last one Jeremy sent.
There were no jelly beans in there.
We talked about it on Slack, I believe. Ooh,
Well, I'm as good on Slack as Keith is on the outline. So
You're
Yeah, we know.
you're actually much better. You're much better on Slack, Keith, is on the outline
hey, there you go.
because you actually show up to
I
Slack.
try to pop in just like once a day or so. So yeah, no, I did not get any jelly beans, but that's okay.
They're gross.
We should get those Harry Potter jelly beans and make a game show out of it.
Those are definitely gross.
Oh,
Where you pick a color.
No.
Pick a color. We all pick this. We all pick a color and we find
Jeremy.
one jelly bean in the.
Jeremy, can you
Bag.
post the show link in chat for me?
Yep.
The live, because I can't seem to grab it again.
Yeah. The public one?
Yeah.
I assume.
Fall into the gap.
You frozen again there, Keith? That's bad.
He probably didn't reboot his computer.
He's moving now.
Copy link address. least.
Didn't.
Hey, look, I found a bottle opener. I wonder what that's for.
Let's find out.
What's it for?
Really shouldn't push the button to go live on YouTube yet. This is going to be really boring if any of this happens to me much.
There, he's moving.
Hi, guys.
You were frozen, Keith.
I know. You all were frozen for me.
Beedly boop.
Guessing your
boop.
computer's
This is the
having some
worst
issues
pre
with
show
it.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, if you're waiting for the show, I'm playing Lords of Waterdeep on my phone. So let me know if you want to play. I don't know why.
Is that boo incredibly loud for everyone?
No,
No, that's just about right.
That's good. Okay.
it's
Cool.
just about the right amount of booing I expect.
Okay. Awesome. Then I can go anytime. I've adjusted
true.
my audio, my quality stream, so hopefully I'll stay.
It's true, guys. Keith could go at any time.
Hey, don't talk to me. You're old now.
Shut up.
You are.
You're right behind me. 2 days from now. Shut up.
No, it's actually tomorrow, but okay. It's all right. It's all right.
I forget that we have that. That you have that weirdness.
I have that weirdness. Yes,
Yeah,
it starts
weirdness.
tomorrow.
Getting old sucks.
It does. And Rob's really old right now. Really freaking old.
Too old.
I have consistently always been 5 days older than Keith.
Yes, but right now, at this instant, you're a whole freaking year older than me. So
Well,
you're really old. God, what's it like being 45? My lord, man.
hey,
I can tell you, it sucks.
hey, what did you say?
How can you tell me, Jeremy? I thought you were the youngest of us.
What did you say?
Aren't I
Just your
45? No, I was 45 in March.
Oh, you were 45 in March? Gary's,
Now, see,
Gary's
he's really
right?
old.
Gary's
I'm
like,
really old.
Gary's like 60,
I'm pushing it. I'm getting close.
right? So that makes me the baby of the group. Oh, Lord. You all are in trouble.
Yeah, but Gary has age-appropriate daughters, whereas you're into the long haul.
Shut up, asshole.
Ouch.
Even my age-appropriate daughter is not age-appropriate anymore.
No.
She's still acting like she's 6, so... It's all right. Okay, should we start a show?
You think?
Yeah, let's do a show. I think we should do a show. This is PNRShow.
Put on a show!
3, episode 15, Summer Beer Camp.
I'd rather have lager than lime. I'll take a strong stout over strive. I prefer to confer with a half pint of ale than live a long life till my private parts fail. For life without liquor is to no avail. So bring me lager for lime. I'd rather have lager than lime. I'll take a strong stout over
Attention campers! Attention campers! Welcome to the Pint of No Return show, where you'll spend the next 60 minutes of your... Sorry for the interruption. Please direct your attention now to the campfire ring where your counselors will take you through this evening's podcast. Tomorrow, we'll have canoeing on the Iroquois Lake and basket weaving in Marpan House. But now, here are your counselors, Keith, Gary, Rob, and Jeremy. Thank you for listening. Please now stand for taps.
Welcome to the Higher No Return Show. We're at beer camp today. We're going to be at beer camp, for what? 4 weeks? Next 4 weeks? 6 weeks?
Or
Something like that.
6
6 weeks. We're at beer
6
camp.
weeks, unless we double them up.
Yay!
Unless we double them up.
How many of us here have been to camp? Have gone to camp?
I have been to camp.
Yeah. I have fond memories of camp. I don't remember drinking much beer in camp, though.
I've been camping.
I would go to a
I
beer
remember
camp.
drinking a lot of beer camping.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah. So, starting today, on our 15th episode of our 3rd season, we are going to be jumping headfirst into camp. Sam Adams.
Nope.
Sorry. You know what it was?
Take two.
I had to crawl. I had to pull out a bunch of Sam Adams, get out of the way.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, just want to let you know we are the experts here.
It's wishful thinking, actually, what it was. Yeah. Sam Adams sent us to beer camp, and unfortunately, when we got there, we realized if you've ever seen Meatballs, you had the one camp that was really ritzy and how to do, and they had all the best stuff and great boats and great looking counselors, and then you had Camp North Star, which was the schlubs. So the high price camp would be the Sam Adams, but we're going to be at Camp North Star with Sierra Nevada. Yeah. That's what it is. Good segue. All right. Yeah, that's all for the pre-show. So for tonight, we're going to be doing the West Latitude Session Rye, brewed with hibiscus, no less.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's interesting. It's a collaboration actually between Sierra Nevada and a bunch of other breweries. Bear Republic, who is just up the road from me, Faction Brewing, Mad River Brewing, who is also California, Magnolia Brewing, and Maui Brewing, who is not California. So it's got, 6 breweries in this collaboration. So
they're all co-conspirators, so no one's guilty if we don't like it.
I think that's the whole point of this beer camp, is I think they're all collaborations that they did from the West Coast to the East Coast. So we're starting on the left part of the United States, both politically and geographically, and working our way to the right.
Yeah, I'm guessing that Maui Brewing threw in the hibiscus, and that was their contribution.
And they literally threw it from Maui. They're like, "Fuck you, we're not coming here. Take some hibiscus."
Wow, slap the explicit label on this one.
It's got a lot of hops in it, but it's described as fruity hops, so it'll be
5.5%.
And they don't call it an IPA. It'll be interesting to see the reaction of the Rob.
Session Rye.
Oh, that's a hibiscus that florally.
I've not always gotten along with ryes, so let's see what this is.
I have.
Before we drink our beer, do we have any feedback?
Probably.
My beer. Yeah, actually, we do have feedback.
Take it away, Gary.
Since one of us has to do show prep, it kind of fell to me this week. Aaron commented on episode 13. Our listener, Aaron Fielder, who is
Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
our
Why don't
only
you give up and
faithful
have him on the
listener.
show sometime.
Yeah, he had actually a couple of comments on that show. Apparently we were talking about Blu-rays at some point. I'm not exactly sure. And he was asking if anybody has who actually has a dedicated Blu-ray player. Most people either use their gaming consoles or a computer or a media server. And then nobody answered, and he replied to his comment and said, "Of course, I realized as soon as I hit enter that Jeremy probably has none of these."
Wow.
So,
and Jeremy's left the show.
Jeremy's left the show because he couldn't
He's
handle
just
the comment.
left the show.
He was out.
See,
I have a dedicated Blu-ray player. That's my only Blu-ray
I
player. Is the Sony Blu-ray player that's up in my entertainment cabinet.
I have 2 dedicated Blu-ray players, one in my bedroom and one in my living room.
We have 2. We have one Blu-ray player in the living room, and then I have an Xbox One up in the movie room.
I missed the question because Google dropped me.
We're asking what the closest thing to a Blu-ray player you would have, Jeremy.
Jeremy has a Betamax in his garage.
What's the closest thing to a Blu-ray player I have?
Yeah.
Is it still in the shrink wrap?
If someone handed you a Blu-ray disc,
what would I do with it?
what would you do with it?
Put it on eBay.
There you go.
The only DVD player I have is the external DVD player on my Mac, and I don't think that's a Blu-ray.
So it's not even built in.
No.
You've got it on like a USB connection.
Although, let me just say this. Jeremy is so out of touch with that actually his is now becoming the new normal because more and more people are getting rid of Blu-ray and DVD players and going streaming. So the fact that he doesn't have a Blu-ray player may put him just slightly ahead of the curve than us.
Actually, Jeremy's actually probably going to pick up a Blu-ray player at a garage sale this summer because it's hip.
No, you don't want... Jeremy, you don't want a Blu-ray player. Jeremy, be on the lookout for something called an HD DVD.
Ooh, that's almost as good as Razor Disc.
What you want.
Okay. Have we made fun of me enough yet? Can we drink beer now?
You know, our listener started it, Jeremy. We're just trying to support and cultivate our listener.
Thanks. I yelled, "Thanks, Aaron," and my phone thought I said, "Hey, Siri," so it turned on. Thanks, Aaron. It did it again.
We need to drink some beer.
All right, so here we go. 5.5% alcohol by volume. I'm drinking right out of the bottle. West Latitude Session Rye. Here we go. Beer camp time. Prost.
Yeah.
It does have a nice nose to it, though. It's not overly florally like I was expecting.
Nope. What else we got to drink?
I wonder if it's the hops or the rye that got you, Rob.
I'm guessing it's the hops.
I'm guessing the rye. I don't have a whole lot of hop flavor in it. But
they're in
strong malt. The rye malt's pretty strong.
Yeah, their ingredients on this one are for bittering, Centennial, Comet, Mosaic hops. For finishing, Comet, Citra, and Mosaic. Malts are Maris Otter, I guess. Golden Promise, Rye, Vienna, and Midnight Wheat. So rye is only one of the malt mix.
All right. Well, I'll go first on this one. Well, I guess Rob went first, but nope. What else we got to drink? Interesting. It's an interesting beer. A little darker than I expected. The mouthfeel is relatively light with a nice amount of carbonation on it, and the combination of the hops and the bite from the rye is a really unique taste. I like this a lot, but I'm not sure how much of it I would buy. Probably get a pint if I saw it on draft and there wasn't anything else I hadn't tried, but I think it's a good seasonal beer, I think. I'm going to give it a 7.
All right. Well, I'll go next. I can't disagree with anything Jeremy said. It's I can disagree with Rob. I'm not going to go with the nope on this. It is interesting. They tried to do something different. I'm not picking up any like hibiscus. I'm not exactly sure what a hibiscus should taste like.
That's a good point.
Like.
Yeah. What
like crap,
flavor profile would hibiscus add? Would be my question. Because I can't pick it out either.
Yeah. To me, this is that the bittering and the hops that are coming through, and maybe the hibiscus is adding to the hop profile in this, and probably in the way it smells, but which is actually I think probably better than the way it tastes. Not that it tastes bad. I was surprised also that it's dark. I mean, it's like the color of Coke or Pepsi, so that's not a bad thing. Probably a good beer for summer beer camp. We've done a couple of different mix packs of brewers that do these kinds of things. I think we've done Sam Adams before, maybe twice. Those did not go very well.
I think we've done a beer camp before, but possibly on the last show. I don't remember if it was actually PNR or not. Might have been Happy Time that did that.
I actually generally like Sierra Nevada's Beer Camp series, and I've been happy with them. They're a little pricey. This is probably a little bit disappointing to me, so I'm going to give it a 6. It's not a bad beer. I would definitely drink it again, but it's not something that I'm going to go out and say, oh, yeah, you got to try that hibiscus session beer from Sierra Nevada. But again, I'm not really a fan of session beer, so a 6 for me on a session beer is actually probably a really good rating.
Well, I'll go next, and then we'll let Rob finish off with his glowing review. This actually surprised me a little bit. I've had some ryes that I really haven't liked before. It tends to take over the beer and just be a strong flavor note that if you're not like terribly into it, doesn't make for a great beer in my opinion. But this is well balanced out. I think it's probably the mix and the blend with the wheat in there that kind of softens it up a little bit. Also, I was saying this feels pretty good for a session beer, but at 5.5%, I'm not sure how you get away with calling this a session beer. This is just pretty much a beer at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'd grab this thinking you could just drink them all day because it's only a 3 or 4% session beer. It's not. It's almost 6. So I think it's just a beer. But that being said, it surprised me with how well it blended and balanced and how approachable it was. I think it would go great on like a summer picnic with some rich and maybe spicy food. This would be a nice pairing. I don't think I'd grab it on a hot day just because I was thirsty, but you pair this up with a big meal, and I think you'd be pretty happy with it. I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay.
So last weekend for my birthday celebration, I went and saw X-Men Apocalypse, and if you're not aware, Apocalypse is not only the character, the main villain of the movie, but it also signifies, or a word meaning the end of the world. And so if I were to be confronted with the end of the world, I could not think of a better beer to be lambasted or shoved in my face than this disgusting session rye with all of its hibiscus nastiness. This is everything I hate in a beer. The stupid floral taste just ruins any kind of attraction that this thing could possibly bring to the table. It is offensive in every sense of the word. Do not drink this. It's another swing and a miss by the idiots at Sierra Nevada and their beer camp brethren. I will give this a 1.
Damn. You're like angry at that beer. It's not
horrible.
just bad. You're like mad.
I was really excited. I was really excited about going to camp. And instead, when I got to camp, I realized that my bed had been short-sheeted. They'd taken my clothes and thrown them out into the lake, and now all I have to wear are my onesie pajamas to the flagpole ceremonies.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that your boxers flying on the flagpole there, Rob?
Exactly.
I think that is.
Exactly. Disgusting. Disgusting. 1 sip was all I could manage.
Wow. By rules of the show, you have to finish, though. So.
I'm finished. I'm definitely finished.
Without pouring it out.
Okay. Well, now here's the challenge for you, Rob.
Yeah.
Since your father-in-law actually owes us a few beers.
Yeah.
You hate this beer so much. What I'd like you to do is give it to him and get his reaction.
My father-in-law is currently in North Carolina, so I will...
So you have time to set this up and get maybe footage for us.
Maybe.
They brew Sierra Nevada in North Carolina. He should be able to get it. Just highly recommend it to him.
Oh, you know what? I already wasted money on this. I'm not going to do it again. That's the definition of insanity. I do have another one. I could wrap it very carefully.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you've got the other one. I know you're not going to drink.
Yeah.
So hand that one off to him. Put that one in the secret beer drawer that obviously he knows about, and leave it for him to take.
Yeah, I actually kind of like and respect my father-in-law. I don't think I want to ruin that relationship. We kind of got a good thing going.
So you're looking forward to the rest of the beer camp series then, huh?
Oh, can't wait.
We've kicked it off strong here.
Can't
Yeah,
wait.
I don't know what you guys paid for it. I'd be curious actually a little bit. That was a solid $30 for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
$29.95.
Yeah,
So
I saw
it's a big
it in the
pack.
store. It's a 12-pack, right?
No, it's 18. Isn't it?
Is it?
It's 6. It's
No, I
6
think
times 2. No, that's 12, I guess.
That would be
Okay.
12.
Nah.
Wow, what
Yeah,
a rip-off.
That's high, because usually 12-packs are a little cheaper than a 6-pack price, so that would make it 15 a 6-pack, which
And
is
it's
a little
domestic.
high.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, a little high. I thought that $30 was too high, and so I checked your photo, Keith, to see what the price was, because you had that in your picture, and I was shocked to see that it was actually $30, because the store I was at was a little bit pricey. So.
6. Oh, wow.
You know, that's what happens when you have 6 breweries making one beer.
Yeah, they all want to cut.
Too many cooks spoiling the proverbial beer pot.
All right, Keith looks frozen in an awesome picture.
Is it an
throw
awesome
this-
picture I was in?
It was. Now it's gone. So.
Okay. I was just figuring out how to tap into the PNRShow feed to at least tell you that I'm frozen.
What does that average out to, by the way?
$2 a
Oh,
beer.
sorry. That averages out to 5.25 rating with the with the dragon.
The price per beer is what he was looking for.
No.
No, I was looking for the rating.
Oh, the rating?
Beer
did you figure
Advocate is an 84 from out of 66 reviews. I don't remember what the Untapped rating was on that. I checked in, but
I can check it out again.
it looks like
I'll do it.
just shy of 4 on Untapped, 3.647.
I don't need to know how much each beer was. The answer is too much.
Yeah.
We haven't even got to the IPAs yet.
Yeah, or the stout.
Good times.
There's an Imperial Amber or something in there, too. I'm looking
Hey,
forward to
there's a brown ale in too. I actually.
Yeah, the Imperial Brown. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So don't you fret. There's more to come from Beer Camp.
Well,
I'm
I was
writing a
kinda
letter.
sad
I'm
when-
writing a letter to my mom asking if I can come home.
I'm always kind of sad when I check in on Untapped and I don't get a badge.
I got a New Brew Thursday level. They actually have a relatively new collaboration badge, so this should count toward that. And by the time you get done with the series, you should have one of those.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, we bid fond or not so fond farewell to the West Latitude Session Rye and our To the Pint segment, and move on to this week's topics. Pint taking time. Go, Keith.
Burn.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe.
Couldn't get the rest of the hook, or we had.
Yeah,
to
that was too much of the hook already. So
That was, yeah.
All right. So this week, opening in theaters, not World of Warcraft, just Warcraft, based on the world-renowned, famous, billion-dollar industry World of Warcraft. And then coming soon to theaters also, which I did see a trailer for this past week, Assassin's Creed. So what I was thinking about for a topic this evening is intellectual properties. Books, comics, games, video games, anything that is very popular or that you really enjoy as hosts of the show. What IPs, and again, intellectual properties, what IPs would you like to see turned into a movie or TV series? So this is kind of a round robin. As you think of one, kind of just talk about it a little bit. So go ahead.
I think that we have multiple ones. At least I have multiple. So we should probably like go in rounds. And,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do it around robin, one at a time. Just give one of yours, and then we'll go to the next person.
Okay. I'll start since I'm already talking and I talk a lot.
Sure.
I'm gonna say it was a book series by Stephen R. Donaldson, who I don't know if you guys have heard of. He's like a sci-fi fantasy writer. Well, actually, just a lot of stuff, but that's what I know. That's the stuff of his I've read. He had a book series of 5 books called The Gap Cycle. That is a epic science fiction story told in the distant future, and it came out in the early '90s, and I read it when it came out, and I just loved it. It's pretty dark at times. It deals with a lot of different kinds of issues that are definitely an adult theme. It's not one for the kids. There's all kinds of horrible things happen to different people in the book, so not one to be taken lightly, but no worse than like a Game of Thrones kind of thing. So probably not even as bad as Game of Thrones. I loved the books. I couldn't put them down once I got them. I read them as they were released in hardcover. I couldn't wait to get them. And unfortunately, they were released pretty quickly, 91 through 96, so they came out kind of on a yearly basis. And I still have them. And I'm probably going to pick them up again because I've kind of forgotten about them since it's been a long time since they came out. But I recommend that series to anybody that likes science fiction. So Stephen R. Donaldson's The Gap series would be my first choice. I would love to see an adaptation of that.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm going to add that to my Goodreads stuff.
Cool. Gary, do you have one? I see you actually have written down two. Why don't you give us one of those?
I just
Gary.
did.
Gary.
The other Gary?
Jeremy.
So I will go first. I'll go with the one that is possibly actually doable, which I've picked before as a half pint, and that is the Southern Reach trilogy. This was written by a guy named Jeff Vandermeer, and it's 3 novels about a fictional place called Area X. It's an uninhabited, abandoned area, possibly having something to do with government experiments, possibly not. And it's the story of the agency that is tasked with exploring that bizarre area. It's really hard to describe, but very fun to read. There's 3 different books in the series, and I would highly recommend reading it, and I think it would make a very fun movie as well. Or even it could be a trilogy, or it could even be a TV series, I think. Like a mini-series.
I read that series on your recommendation, Jeremy. Actually, I listened to it on Audible. And that series really creeped me out.
That would be the series.
Yeah, that series I would listen to as I would fall asleep at night, and I would wake up at 2 a.m. and be like in a sweat because I had listened to that before bed. I don't know if that would make a great series. It might make a great TV series. It would probably make a really amazing anime series, though.
Yeah, that would probably be the way to do it.
I kind of almost envision Area X that way. with the sharp contrast of colors and stuff that they describe, it almost comes off as a very anime type thing. Hey Rob, if you could move your mic a little bit, you're breathing into the.
Oh, it's because I'm leaning on it.
Yeah. So I put that in chat 5 minutes ago, but you don't look at the chat, so I'm going to tell you on the show now.
I'll look at the chat if you want to look at the. If you want to look at the outline, I'll look at the chat. Let's make the trade. Nice.
So, Keith, it's your turn.
Keith,
I actually do have a one right off the bat that I think would work really good. It's mostly because I've become slightly obsessed with this new IP, and I'm hoping to own it a little bit shortly, as my birthday's coming up. But it's a pick I made a couple weeks ago when I played the beta, and that's Overwatch. Since I haven't been able to play, I've been kind of watching a lot of the trailers and the advertising, and Blizzard has actually put together a bunch of backstories on the characters and stuff in little like 15-minute and 10-minute vignettes on YouTube, and they are fascinating and well done. They're all animated, but they're really great, and I think that would make a really good follow-up to like something like Star Wars Rebels out there as a TV series. It's really cool. If you go to the Blizzard's YouTube page, all the Overwatch stuff is there, and if you start playing it, it'll turn it into a movie and just run like an hour and a half of all that stuff pinned together in a nice little lean-back experience. It's pretty cool. So.
Cool.
That's Overwatch?
And that's Overwatch, yeah, and that ties right into the Blizzard movie coming out for Warcraft, so because it's the same company. So, but this is with all the Overwatch stuff is with all new characters. They're not bringing in any of the old stuff from like Warcraft or anything. So.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. Just as an aside, that the Warcraft film is getting a lot of negative reviews, and I've been reading them. Keith and I actually have played some Warcraft in our day. Now this is not World of Warcraft. At least I haven't played World of Warcraft, but I've played like Warcraft 3, like the old StarCraft real-time strategy game. And I loved it. But what they're saying in the reviews is that, well, this is really not going to interest you unless you're a big fan of the video game, unless you're really steeped into it. This is not going to appeal to the masses. And I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's good or not. But what I will say is we often criticize movie studios that make films based on IPs that kind of broaden it too much so that it gets away from the source material. So maybe this will be one that kind of sticks to it, and maybe it is a movie just for the fans, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. My pick would also be, my first one would also be based on a video game. I've gotten a lot of great experience time playing this series of video games that I actually recently passed on to Keith. I don't know how far he's gotten in them, but I think Mass Effect would be a great movie or a television series. Mass Effect taking place in the future where humans actually aren't the most advanced civilization. In fact, far from it. They're thrust into kind of intergalactic politics when there's an ancient science that is unveiled, an ancient technology that allows travel, faster than light travel in between stars and systems, and so all of a sudden humanity is thrust into that, and they're kind of the low man on the totem pole and have to kind of claw their way up to even get any kind of respect with the other races. And of course there is an ancient evil that comes in to threaten all of humanity. And but the great thing about Mass Effect is the internal politics is so well developed, even in the video game. It's very cinematic. Everybody has their own motivations. There is good and evil, but there are lots of different shades, which I always enjoy in a story. So Mass Effect will be a great series to do.
Yeah, I haven't gotten terribly far in it, but that would be a great one. I'd love to see that as like a live-action HBO kind of series. I think they could do really awesome stuff with that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sorry, Jeremy. Gary.
Jeremy or Gary. Gary. I'll be Gary now. I think that there's probably a lot of video games that have these really rich stories because most video games these days, and probably for the last 15 years, have had writers that have been working on them. They got away from just the gameplay aspect and actually got into stories. So, not got away from the gameplay, but focused a lot on the storylines. So, I think that these days, when you talk about how movies are having a hard time or television's having a hard time and people are cutting off their cable and satellite subscriptions or not going to theaters, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that video games actually have compelling stories. And it's not just that they're playing the game, that people get actually immersed in the stories, and it makes it more of an interactive experience. So That's just my 2 cents. The video games in general, we've seen a couple of them with Angry Birds and Warcraft. There's probably been some others come into movies, and we will probably start seeing a lot more just because they have really good writers working on them.
Yeah, now Assassin's Creed, that's going to be coming out later this year, is a fantastic, rich game. I've played a couple of them, and basically it's about a guy who, via a piece of technology called the Animus, is able to travel into his past lives, and in each of his past lives he was an assassin. So he goes all the way back to ancient Israel, to the Spanish Inquisition, the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the Pirates era. I mean, there's so many different timelines that are available to use for Assassin's Creed that, if it's done correctly, could be awesome. And Michael Fassbender, who's an amazing actor, is playing the title character. So right away, I'm intrigued.
So, so Tomb Raider is probably the first video game to movie adaptation that I can remember, right? But I can't remember though.
No, it's Mario Brothers back in the '80s.
Oh,
Captain Lou Albano doing Mario Brothers.
I forgot about that.
Bob Hoskins, actually. I mean.
Or Tron, was Tron a video game before the movie, or did they kind of come out at the same time?
Tron was a movie that they made a video game for.
Right.
Okay.
It was kind of a whole synergy cross-promotional product thing.
You know, us old people can't remember those details.
I'm trying to remember. I can't think of another video game earlier or around that time. Off the top of my head now. Okay. So Gary, what's your next one? I see you have a couple there.
So I'm gonna go away from games. I was thinking yeah, that's probably a good idea. So when Rob put this topic in there, I thought immediately of one of the first things that's not really intellectual property because it's a true story, but that I don't think has
that's okay.
been told a lot. But there's not a movie of it. Like we have a lot of really great true story or based on reality movies out there. Bridge of Spies came out last year, which was a story that not something we'd heard of, but made a great movie. I was thinking a movie on the Iran-Contra scandal going back to the 80s. I think that would be an interesting and compelling movie, especially if somebody like Oliver Stone were to get a hold of it. Someone that's done some good movies like that. There's a lot of controversy with that. The whole Ollie North thing and those hearings and trials and stuff. So I think that would be a good one to revisit and see as an adaptation in modern times.
Okay, cool. Jeremy's got another one too. What do you got, Jeremy?
I've got one more, and this is one that probably just could never be done right, and that is House of Leaves. Has anybody read House of Leaves or heard of it?
I've heard of it. I've never read it.
So this is a huge book. I'm a pretty fast reader, and this book took me months to read. It's huge. It's dense. It has footnotes that have footnotes that have footnotes. And it's part of what makes it so great is the way it's actually laid out on the page. There's one chapter that, well, the book is about, I can't even describe what it's about. It's about a weird house, and it's bigger on the inside than on the outside. There's a weird passageway and strange dimensional stuff. One of the chapters is about exploring this weird tunnel and getting lost in a labyrinth. And that chapter is laid out on the page in a way that the text starts bigger and then gets smaller on each page, and then starts moving, and then you have to turn the book to read it. So as you're reading it, what you're reading is reflected in the way the text is shaped on the page. It's hard to describe, but the effect is really, really amazing. Several times reading this book, it literally gave me chills. Like, it made me shiver, like chills down my spine. Really creepy, really, really weird. Southern Reach on steroids. So I would love to see a good adaptation of this. I don't know how it could possibly be done because so much of the effect is the way the text is laid out on the page. It's really an incredible book.
Yeah, book adaptations are so hard, especially. Is this a series or is it a single book?
Yeah, it's one book.
Okay. Book adaptations are really hard to do and do well. I think Game of Thrones is a good example of a fine adaptation. I mean, they've cut and changed a lot of the story, but I've found as I've watched the show, I haven't really minded it. But you'll always have those folks that are so attached to the way a book is drawn out and actually draws you in that is so difficult to do in a visual medium.
Yeah, I think that's true. Like for us, Lord of the Rings was one of those where we really enjoyed the adaptation. It changed the books dramatically, but it was okay. For me, one that I have troubles with to this day is the whole Harry Potter series. They cut so much of the books out on those movies that I really found the movies to be lacking compared to the books.
So I couldn't disagree more. I
knew we'd have a problem with that.
It's okay, but yeah, there was a lot cut. You're right, and some people,
especially in those first few movies, I think they were horribly did a horrible disservice. That it so much so that if you didn't read the book first, those first movies just would not seem coherent at all. But as they went on, they got better. That's for sure. I do have another. If you guys want, if we got time for it.
Yeah, go ahead. I've got one more, and you got one more. So go ahead.
Okay. I've talked before, and I think I've made picks before by the author Brandon Sanderson.
Hearthstone. Oh, no, wait.
No, not Hearthstone.
Hearthstone.
It would make a great and very compelling book, although you can watch it every weekend on esports shows anyway, so there you go.
Although Hearthstone is in the Warcraft universe, so...
Yes, yeah, it's already being done, in a way.
Yeah.
But no, Brandon Sanderson's an author I picked before for this. I'm a big fan of his fantasy books and the way he very scientifically creates his systems of magic and stuff like that. But he's got another series out that's outside of the fantasy realm quite a bit. In fact, it's borderline. Well, it really is a superhero book, and I just started reading it. The first one in the series is called Steelheart, and it's more of, without giving it away, it's more of, I think, a realistic take of what would happen if superheroes were real. If certain members of humanity were suddenly granted superpowers, what would really happen? And if you apply the concept of absolute power corrupts absolutely, you'll kind of see where this goes. The superheroes instantly become the leaders of humanity and not good ones. So it's kind of about the freedom-fighting regular humans that try to take them on. It's really a great book, and I'm looking forward to the next one already. And they would make fantastic counterplay to all the superhero movies that are out there from Marvel right now. And I think if they could have those up and happening right now, for every Marvel movie that comes out every summer, they had one of these. It'd probably be a really awesome way to watch them.
What kind of be like the was that is?
The book I'm reading now, I don't know what the series is called. I think it has its own name. But the first book in the series is called Steelheart.
Okay. That sounds really, really good.
In the series, yeah, in the series he refers to them as epic.
Cool.
There goes Keith.
That does sound good.
He just
the
tears the world apart as the Reckoner series. That's right. Because that's the freedom fighters that are trying to stop them. Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Is it just me or is it Keith?
Yeah, no, I think his daughter unplugged the internet.
Also,
Keith. Keith. I'm sure he's making great points. I'm sure these are. It's fascinating, and it sounds like a book that I want to read. I'm sorry that we can't hear the rest of it.
I'm sorry. What did you miss? I can sum up.
Everything after the Reckoners.
Just go read the books, and it would make great IP. Just trust me on that.
Yeah, no, that sounds very cool. I may have to go get that look. Brandon
Yeah.
Sanderson, until recently, until last couple of weeks when we had news that Wheel of Time has finally been given the go-ahead to somehow become a series, Wheel of Time would have been my first choice for an IP to be brought somehow to TV. And Brandon Sanderson was a big part of getting that finished, was he not?
Yeah, the last 3 books were his.
Yeah. So that would have been a great choice, but I'm not leaving that off the list. So I'll do my last 2 really quick. Another video game series that Keith and I have had a lot of fun with was Gears of War, which is a futuristic. I'm gonna kind of say it's almost like a Band of Brothers, Easy Company type, close-knit military unit, but set in a kind of a post-apocalyptic science fiction world, and it's a very good series. It's kind of thin on plot. It's a very broadly drawn plot, but there's some really great characters in there that I think could be made into something pretty good.
Hey,
I probably go more with
it. Never stopped Hollywood.
Yeah, I would think that Gears of War would be better suited for films than television. There's not a lot there, but I think it would be really good. And then the second one that I wanted to mention is, of course, I like Stephen King's books very much. Dark Tower, again, would have been toward the top of my list, but it's now getting close to being made into films and/or a television series. But I tend to stray away from his horror stuff, and go towards the more traditional stuff like Dark Tower and this one, which I think would be a great film, and that's The Eyes of the Dragon. The Eyes of the Dragon is actually a medieval set story about 2 brothers, 2 princes, one of which is framed for murder, and it has in it the great opus villain that Stephen King brings through a lot of his books, and that's Flag, plays the main villain in this story, and it's a really good kind of a mystery adventure, almost like a crime noir type of story that I think would be a great film. There's a lot of really good stuff in there. It's not a long book either, and it's not a series or anything like that. It would just be a one-off. So I would love to see that too. All right, great. So that's pretty good. So let's move on now to our pick segments for the week. Half pint time, Keith.
Right. I'm paying attention.
Okay. So picks for the week. These would be along the same line: movies, TV shows, music, anything that we think you should take a look at. Each of us brings a pick to the table and tells you about it. So, starting with Jeremy, he's got an iOS game for you to try.
My pick for this week is an iOS game called Surfingers, which is maybe the worst name ever.
It's a kind of a strange name.
It is. Take surf and fingers and put them together. It's a surfing game for iOS. Really simple gameplay. You swipe up and down to make the waves move up and down so that you are level to go from one section to the other. Kind of hard to describe, but really easy to play and really fun. Simple gameplay. Kind of. I don't know if you've ever played Lumber. Is it Lumberman? Timberman. Same company and very similar gameplay. So my pick is Surfingers. It's free and you can remove ads for 99 cents. Well worth a buck.
Cool. Downloading as we speak. All right. Gary. Oh, boy. Okay, Gary. Tell us about your pick. TV show from Gary.
Really? You're going to start with that? Just like the review of the beer. I take it you don't like this one?
No, it's okay. It's okay. I can appreciate the fact that you like it. So please go.
Okay, my pick is the TV show The Newsroom, which I don't even believe is on the air anymore, but that's okay.
No. Just finished its last season last year.
Okay, so we're starting with the first season because it's available on Amazon Prime, and as I mentioned last week, we cut off our DirecTV subscription, and my wife and I had started picking this one up a while back and didn't finish it because we got distracted by other things, but now we're watching it with our younger daughter, and I really like it. It's a fictional show about a cable news program that decides to actually try to report the news. It's a little bit leaning toward liberal politics and favoring liberal ideas, just slightly a little bit to the side, not as far as Rob's laugh would imply.
Wow. Okay, Gary.
At least so far, it's not.
Okay. Go ahead.
But one of the reasons that I like it is not the politics. The politics, I agree with a lot of the stuff, but that's not the main thing. Is I think they've done a really great job with the characters and the writing and the interaction between the characters. Jeff Daniels plays the lead character, Will McAvoy, who's the news anchor, and it's just so striking for me to think of Jeff Daniels in this role and to think of him in Dumb and Dumber. Such a contrast, but it just I guess shows that he's actually a good actor that has some talent. So my pick is The Newsroom. I think it's a worthy show and worth your time to watch. In spite of Rob's.
Well,
I've enjoyed the 2 episodes I've seen of it.
Let me just say, this is an Aaron Sorkin series. Who, if you don't know, Aaron Sorkin is the creator of like Sports Night, The West Wing, writer of A Few Good Men. So he's a writing genius. He's a genius.
Yeah.
We've talked about West Wing just recently. It's one of my favorite dramas of all time. And what I loved about The West Wing was that even amongst the politics, and you knew where the White House stood and all of its main characters, they did a great job with presenting both sides of the story in a logical way. I have found watching The Newsroom that they've thrown that out the window. Like they're just going with what they feel is their agenda, and that's it, and trying to make the other side look as stupid as they possibly can, which is fine if that's what you want to do for the series. It's just not something that I can still appreciate the fact that Aaron Sorkin's a great writer, and I know that I've seen some scenes from The Newsroom that are phenomenal. You've probably all seen the speech on Facebook of where Jeff Daniels talks about why America isn't exceptional anymore, and it gives you a lot of things to think about, that's for sure.
I think that I don't know how far you got into it. We're probably 6 or 7 episodes in. They're definitely
5 or 6.
They tone the politics down. The first few episodes have a lot of the politics stuff, but I'm noticing that's trending down, and they're getting more into the stories of the characters. So, which is good.
Okay, cool. Keith, what's your pick, buddy?
I kind of don't really have a pick this week because I'm reserving my pick for my future download of Overwatch shortly. And I already went into how wonderful all the other stuff is when you're not playing Overwatch. But it came out on May 24th, and I don't own it yet because I'm waiting to get it hopefully for my birthday. So that's what I'm going to be doing hopefully all weekend, all my free time that I'm not spending with my lovely family. I'm going to be blowing up other players in Overwatch. So
Keith's pick is some insight into how to raise a teenager.
I can tell you all about that.
Is he frozen or he's just not talking?
No, he's just not talking.
Okay. My pick for the week is an iOS app. It's actually exactly. It's an iOS app based on a board game that I have. And actually, Keith, this might be one you want to look into since you're really like Hearthstone. This is not a CCG per se. It's called Summoner Wars. In Summoner Wars, you have 2 factions playing against each other on a gridded board, almost like a chessboard. But they're actually cards with powers and special abilities and attacks and defenses and all that kind of stuff. And you actually position the cards themselves on a grid, and the cards can move and attack other cards, and the object of the game is to kill the other person's summoner, which is the head of that particular faction. The cards work together in really, really cool ways, and great combinations, and by destroying the other team's cards or discarding some of your own cards, you build up magic in which you can summon more things or do other things. So it's very, very cool. You can play it turn-based or play it live on iOS. I'm in a couple of games right now, and it's really, really fun. The art's very different kind of fantasy type art that I'm starting to enjoy a lot. And I think it's on the $4.99, $6.99 side of the iOS app thing, so it's a little more on the pricier side than folks want, but it's actually a very cool game, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So, Summoner Wars.
My pick this week is for Time Warner Cable. Moving to Spectrum has obviously helped them a lot, as I keep freezing up during the show. So,
yeah,
well done, Time Warner / Spectrum Cable Internet. Thank you.
Nothing but class from TWC.
That's right.
All right, so guys, as we close out episode 15, any final thoughts?
Happy birthday, Rob.
Hey, thank you. And
Happy birthday, Keith.
Happy future birthday to Keith.
Thank you, Mo.
45, staring at your face.
Old.
45 means, yeah, that's definitely like the halfway mark.
All right, but just because we're 45 doesn't mean we can't go to camp. That's right, we're going to continue our beer camp series next week from Sierra Nevada. Have we picked a beer yet?
The next one. We're going left or right on the top, so I don't know what it is, but it's the next one. If you buy the beer camp box for $30, you can play along at home.
All right. Well, I emptied the box, so I don't know what it is. I've emptied it and put it in the fridge. So the guys will tell me.
I recycle mine.
That would be the stout.
All right.
Stout.
Some kind of stout.
All right. So the
I like
stout
stouts.
will be next week. So if you want to join us in experiencing the Sierra Nevada Beer Camp Stout, please do. Find us at PNRShow.com and all the various Twitter things you can find. And we're going to close it out. Thanks, guys.
I'll take a strong stout over strife. I prefer to confer with a half pint of ale than live a long life till my private parts fail. For life without liquor is to no avail. So bring me lager for life. I'd rather have lager than life. I'll take a strong stout over strife.
Oh my God, I got to get rid of these ads on this surf game already. That's just annoying. That's fun though. Oh, my angel just wiped out.